Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a Pakistani man who recently was accused of killing a young Pakistani girl because she rejected his marriage proposal. And this young woman's name was Myra Zulfikar. Now this young girl, her name was Myra, and she was 25 years old and apparently had flown back to Pakistan for a wedding celebration that one of her friends or family members was having, but had to stay longer due to the COVID-19 restriction measures. However, according to a journalist covering the story named Tahir Abin Manzoor, who wrote this piece for thedailymail.com, he said that Myra was found dead lying on a pool of blood in her rented apartment in Lahore, Pakistan. And for those of you who don't know, Lahore in Pakistan is one of the richest cities in Pakistan. I believe it is the richest. I'm not entirely sure, but it does say here on Google that Lahore is the capital of the Pakistani province of Punjab and is the country's second largest city after Karachi, as well as the 26th largest city in the world. Lahore is one of Pakistan's wealthiest cities with an estimated GDP of 84 billion as of 2019. So obviously it's a very affluential area of which a lot of rich people reside in. But unfortunately, the wealth of this city couldn't keep Myra safe. In any case, her death was a result of gunshot injuries to the neck and shoulder. There were marks on her body that proved that she was tortured and also strangled. Now, a man named Zahir, 26 years old, he confessed to murdering this British law school student. And while I'm on this point, yes, she's actually from England. She was born and raised in England, but her parents are from Pakistan and left many years ago to travel to England to, I suppose, have a better life. But based on this story, it states that Myra and Zahir were in a relationship and he decided to murder her after she rejected his marriage proposal. And it's suspected that after she rejected him, he got mad, offended, and decided to lash out on her. Now, a little bit about Zahir, Myra's former boyfriend. You know, he's basically a rich kid, a rich, privileged, wealthy socialite who never had to work for anything a day in his life, who got angry and shot his girlfriend to death because she didn't want to get married to him. However, the authorities have also arrested some of his relatives who are believed to have participated in the murder. A man named Sad Butt, yeah, that's actually his name, Sad Butt, a former friend of Myra, was also a suspect but has been released after refuting any involvement in the homicide. Now, according to police reports, Myra had actually filed a complaint against her boyfriend, stating that he had kidnapped her at gunpoint and threatened to kill her. But I suppose the local law enforcement in Lahore, Pakistan didn't take this seriously and kind of swept it under the rug. And it's pretty obvious for anyone listening to the story that something like this was bound to happen. The guy has anger issues. He's a socialite, meaning that, you know, he's living off of daddy's money. He's privileged, he's entitled, and, you know, these kind of guys and girls cannot stand rejection as they've always been given anything they wanted in life. I would like to touch on the fact that I did learn something though after doing some research on this case. And it's the fact that in Pakistani society and the Islamic community, men are often offended and get violent if rejected or denied romantic favors. And I know not all Muslim or Islamic men are like this, obviously not, but after doing some research, it seems to be ingrained within the culture. Women seem to be treated as second-class citizens. Obviously not in all communities or countries, but it seems to be a prevalent issue that seems to be very widespread. And in these situations, when women reject marriage proposals or romantic advances from particular types of Islamic men, women can risk the chance of getting beaten up upon the refusal of marriage and possibly killed if that man turns out to be, you know. And I already know there are going to be some Muslim or Islamic men in my comment section getting offended or angry at the fact that I'm highlighting this issue. And obviously, I'm not saying that this issue doesn't happen in other communities around the world or around the globe, obviously not. But I am saying that after watching a video from people who legitimately come from Pakistan talking about this issue, they made a video themselves talking about Myra's death. They said that due to cultural differences, Myra growing up in England, which is a Western country which prioritizes women's rights, equality, women choosing what they want to do with their lives, etc. And then you have her boyfriend who was born and bred in Pakistan, grew up in Pakistan around the specific Islamic culture that doesn't necessarily align with the thought that women should be as free as they are in Western countries like England or in the US or places like in Germany. Apparently in Pakistan and other Islamic countries, it's much more conservative and much more strict in terms of the amount of freedom that women have. So when you have a Western girl who grew up in England, whose parents are Pakistani, but, you know, she grew up pretty much in the West, so she has a different kind of culture, who then decides to have a Pakistani boyfriend who grew up in the East with a completely different culture that does not align with hers. These types of unfortunate situations are inevitable. Like, the vibe I was getting from this video is that a lot of people who grew up in these countries have an idealistic view of their parents' home countries, and then when they finally go to these places and try to pull the same kind of behavior that they pull in like places like America, whether it be talking a certain kind of way or dressing a certain kind of way, and they get in trouble for doing these types of things that were acceptable in the West, they quickly realize that, oh, so I guess things don't work the same way as they did back home in England. In any case, the situation is tragic. I send my condolences to Myra's family and friends. I know they're incredibly sad right now, as I saw a video of, I believe, her father or her brother or cousin crying his eyes out at the fact that she's now dead. It's really tragic, but if any of you guys are interested in watching this video, it's titled British Law Graduate Myra Zulfikar, and the two people in this video are just talking about the situation, about how sad it is, as they have Pakistani and Islamic backgrounds themselves. So I'm going to be putting a link to this video in the description for anybody who's interested. With that being said though, I hope you guys learned something today. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay safe out there.